MLBBro.com, covering black and brown major leagues.
Hello, baseball fans. This is Timothy McKain, and you're watching Brothers Broadcasters on MLBBro.com. And today, I have the pleasure of interviewing the great New York Yankees PA announcer, Paul Odin. Paul has been the announcer for the New York Yankees since 2009. Thank you, Paul, for joining, giving us a few moments of your time.
You're welcome. It's my second go around with the Yankees. I was with them, of course, back in the 90s on television, and now I'm in the stadium as the PA guy.
Yes, sir. Amazing. So when did you first fall in love with the sport of baseball?
When I was 15, before that, I was playing, but I was also involved in the orchestra at school, and we had a lot of summer concerts, which, of course, interfere with playing baseball. And so I stuck with the music, and the baseball playing fell by the wayside, but I wanted to be a broadcaster, so I started practicing when I was 15.
That's amazing. So what led you to decide to pursue a career in broadcasting and announcing?
Well, I couldn't play, so I wanted to be close to the sports. So that was the best way to be involved, as opposed to maybe writing or something. But I wanted to be a broadcaster. That was seemingly a glamorous way of leading a life, of being able to go to a game, get paid for it, and have a nice income.
Yes, sir. I completely understand where you're coming from with that. So how did you develop your conversational tone in announcing?
Just by talking and copying the broadcasters that I liked, and the ones that I grew up with in Southern California were all conversational type broadcasters. They weren't screamers. They were more low-key announcers who made it sound as if they were talking to you in their living room as opposed to announcing to you.
Yes, sir. What were some of your greatest moments as an announcer?
When I was with Tampa Bay, I had a chance to broadcast Wade Boggs' 3,000th base hit, which was a home run, the first time it had ever been done that way. So that was a standout. And broadcasting for the Rams in Los Angeles and UCLA in Los Angeles, city I grew up in. So broadcasting for your hometown team is always a thrill.
Yes, sir. Amazing. So what was it like to follow Bob Shepard, the voice of God, someone who was such amazing history in New York? He was actually, for people who don't know, he was the New York Yankees PA announcer for over 50 years. What was it like to follow the great Bob Shepard? And did it give you any advice as you were the next one up as the announcer?
Well, Bob and I were pals back from the 90s when I was with the Yankees before. So I was following someone I knew that I kept in contact with over the years whenever I visit Yankee Stadium as a visiting announcer. So it was easy to step into those shoes, and a pleasure to follow someone like that. And I kept in contact with him until he passed, and I still keep in contact with his widow, Mary. So I'm still in contact with the family, and he didn't give me any advice. He knew that I pretty much knew what I was doing. But I still have a photo of him that I keep in the booth at Yankee Stadium, of him sitting next to the microphone at work. So that's kind of an inspiration to remind me to follow his style and to meet the high standards that he set.
Yes, sir. Why is it important to have Black voices in broadcasting and in announcing?
Well, I think it's always good to have a representation in that regard. But I always stress that it shouldn't be solely based on color. When I was with Tampa Bay, we tried to get a minority broadcasting situation going, and we had trouble recruiting. Not many minorities were interested in doing radio. TV was the way to go for most people now. Radio is not something that they feel is radio play-by-play. Maybe radio talk has improved in terms of minority representation way better than it was back in my day when I was doing talk shows in Los Angeles. And now it seems most of the minority broadcasters are former players as opposed to guys like me who didn't play. But either way, it's always good to have that representation. But I always believe that if you're interested in doing the job, you go ahead and work towards it. But if you don't feel like that's what you want to do, then it shouldn't be forced upon anybody just to fill a quota.
MLBBro.com, covering Black and Brown Major League.